Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku, back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about why animes, primarily, are much better than the mangas, and this pretty much applies to comic books to a certain extent too, with cartoons, and they'll always be better. So, kind of got on this a lot with some people. But it just really amazes me at how many people prefer the manga over the anime to a certain extent. I mean, there's a lot more people that also prefer the anime. But it always amazes me when I hear people prefer the manga and they follow it, and I could never get behind that. I mean, when I was in high school, I read some of the shonens back before they decided to totally disband that and just do digital stuff releases. But I could never understand why someone would prefer to read the story rather than watch it on television. To me, it always was no contest in terms of the excitement you get when you're watching the story unfold on television, or in this day and age streaming service. You're watching the story play out, and that to me is always better than reading the less emotionless book of pages. That to me is just, it's something to me that I always feel like, if I was to do what a lot of these anime fans do, where they'll read the manga first and then they'll watch the anime when it finally comes out, like 2 years later, or whenever the budget is, when the anime comes out. It always amazes me why people prefer that format over just watching the anime, because to me it loses its lackluster, it loses the shock value, because once you've read that same story on a manga, you're just basically just gonna see it now on television. It's not the same anymore. It's not the same anymore because you already know what happens now. You don't know that if you just watch the anime. If you watch the anime, you get the thrill, you get the emotion of what they're feeling and what they're doing and what's going on. The impact to me has always felt better watching it on television, or in this day and age streaming, than reading a manga panel, which, by the way, is backwards. I know that's intentional because that's how the Japanese read, but still, it was always confusing to me when I was younger. So for me, personally, it's something that you can't grasp behind, and a lot of the mangas are always in black and white, which is another thing I'm not a fan of. I mean, I know there's some that get colored in, but I'm really not a fan of the black and white stuff. I never have been. Black and white, is just something that I just don't stand. Even on television, I don't stand black and white. Jeez, unless it's like the Addams Family. It's just something I can't tolerate. You know what I mean there? The whole black and white format. Oh my god. I want to see full color, man. But, point being is, if the story is the same story that you're going to see on television, frame by frame, picture by picture, scene by scene, drawing by drawing, why do you want to read that? Why not just watch the anime? The anime is so much better. You can hear the voices, you can hear the emotion, you can hear the thrill. You know what I mean? You can't get that with a book. You can't get that. I know some people use the argument imagination, but you can't really imagine what they're feeling. You can't do that unless you see the anime. The anime is where it is. And for me, personally, if I was to read the mangas of all these series that I watch right now, whether it be on Toonami or Funimation or wherever, I probably wouldn't watch them because it wouldn't be the same. Wouldn't be the same if I read the manga first and then watched the anime. It wouldn't be the same. You know what I mean there? It just isn't the same. It isn't the same. You gotta feel that emotion. You gotta feel and envision what those characters are gonna sound like, and you don't get that from a book. You get that from a television set. That is where the creativeness comes out. And that is where the love comes in. When we were kids, we didn't fall in love with these shows because we were reading books. Fell in love with them because we seen them every weekday at 5 on Cartoon Network, Toonami, or Saturday mornings, with Pokemon and all this other stuff. This is where you get invested into this. When you get invested into like those kiddie type shows like a Tiny Toons or Animaniacs or any of those shows we watched when we were younger, you don't get invested in those shows unless you see them on TV. This is where the love comes in. It doesn't come from a comic book. It doesn't come from a manga panel. It doesn't come from that. It comes from the television set because that is where you get to see the character, you get to hear the character, you get to hear the emotion of the character, what the character is feeling as a superhero or as whatever. And in some instances, the anime is also better because they'll address things that sometimes the manga may have forgotten or didn't include. Specifically, I've noticed this, and this has been brought up sometimes even in my Discord, is that there's some things that have been misinterpreted or some things that have been changed or forgotten. And sometimes the animes address this much better. And sometimes, there's been some times where sometimes the animes do misinterpret stuff one way or another from manga. But a lot of times, sometimes they add to it. And I think that's really good that they do those type of touch-ups that might make it more better for TV viewer audiences to understand a little better. You get your fillers, obviously, but sometimes the fillers can be good. Sometimes the fillers not so much. Just depends really on the show. Dragon Ball Z had some pretty good fillers. And obviously there are some changes. Localizing wise, sometimes good or worse. Obviously, my favorite show of all time was Dragon Ball Z, the dub. I will never not forget that because that was, something that was really good in the way it worked and the way the format was. And it's something that still gives me goosebumps to this day watching it. Obviously, you can't plan for music because obviously the author isn't thinking of music when they're writing stuff, and that's where you get like the Falconer score, and the Falconer score was very good. That music. You get stuff like that, and you just don't think of that. That's another thing you don't envision when you're thinking of this. When you're reading a manga or a comic book, you're not seeing that. Now, this doesn't mean that mangas and comic books can't be good. That's not true at all. You know, case in point, Avatar: The Last Airbender, in my opinion, does it correctly. They, they don't try to retell the television series, but they try to add to it of stories that happen after the anime series for Avatar, as well as stuff maybe in between the Avatar: The Last Airbender series that we never got to see during the television series run. These are some stuff that I think is something that manga series should do more. I think they should try to tell stories that the anime has never addressed. But a lot of these animes are based off of an original manga, so it necessarily can't work. But some of these ones that aren't that, you got shows like Code Geass, okay, which Code Geass wasn't a manga originally. It was an anime series first, and then it kind of became a manga. But it became a manga of telling different stories. It told different stories and branched out, to different things, which I think absolutely worked. These are things that I think more, anime series should try to do. They should try doing these formats better than trying to just, do the whole retelling of something that's already been done type deal. But, you got good series out there. Obviously, as you know, Dragon Ball Z, my favorite show of all time. Still better than Kai, in my opinion, and I've watched both of them, and I don't want to hear people in the comments again, because we're going to hear some taboo from some people on here. We got those Kai fanboys, as I like to call them, or subtitle fans out there, but we've gotten hit it on those dudes, but we got some great shows out there. And, it's just so much a better product when you get it in the anime and you hear it and you feel it. You feel that. You feel Goku. You feel all these other guys, these heroes and superheroes. You feel that. You feel it with Naruto. You believe it. When Naruto said believe it, even though they changed it in Shippuden, which was stupid, by the way. You believe in it. Not to take the pun literally, but you get what I mean. You get you feel it. You believe in them. Yugi with the heart of the cards. You believe in that. You believe in what these characters are doing. You can't get behind that in a manga because you're not feeling that emotion. You're not feeling that voice. You're not hearing that. Okay? You hear that physically and literally in the anime when it's coming on, and you believe in that. Ash saying I gotta catch them all. You believe that he can do that. This is the selling point of these shows. This is what sells you these type of shows. When Goku says what he's gonna do to Frieza, ally to good, nightmare to you. You believe in this stuff. This is stuff you believe in, and even though necessarily some of this stuff is mistranslated or anything like that, you feel it and you believe in it. And this is the stuff that makes the product very good, and this is what makes the anime series better than the mangas and the comic books, because you're believing in it, you're feeling it, and it just works, guys. And it's just something that you'll never get. It will be something that will never be as good as what you'll see in an anime or a dub, if you're a dub fan like myself, because this is a dub channel, as we all know. But even if you're a sub fan, you're not going to get the same experience as you're going to get from a manga where you're not hearing it. You're not hearing the music because there is no music in there. They haven't picked music for a manga. They haven't picked that. It comes in when you do the anime. And this is something that you just can't feel. You can't get the same emotion without that feel, that pump up, that get you right in and get you right out and get you ready to go. You know what I mean? That wants you to have more. You don't get that without the feeling, without the admiration, without the pump up, the excitement, you know, the epicness of all these battles and all this stuff. You don't get that without it being an anime. You don't get that. The anime is what makes it. The anime is what gets you in. It's what draws you in. It draws you in better than it does in a manga, because it's just not the same. So that's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think about it. I'd like to hear what a lot of people say about this. You know, this is my take on it, and this is my feeling on it. So I really like to hear what other people are going to say about this. I know this might be straight down the middle, but I would like to hear people's opinions on this. But this is my take, and this is my opinion on it. And I'd like to know what people think about this. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell for all the latest content. There's a lot of you guys that watch this video watch this channel that aren't subscribed, so make sure you subscribe. Discord link in the description for discussions, rate, and that is about it. I'm the SS Ultimate Goku, Moderate. Peace!